Hey guys, it's Izzy here, and today I'm going to be doing my May book haul, showing you all the books that came into my possession in the month of May. Let's get in. In the month of May, I was allowed to purchase 11 books because that's how many books I read in April. I went to some free little libraries as well, so we have some free books. That's always great. So we're going to start with my most recent purchase and go to the least recent. If you haven't seen anywhere on my channel, which you might be living under a rock, or you're new if you haven't, I went to Sunset Beach, North Carolina over the weekend just to kick off the summer season, and they do have an indie bookstore there, that being Pelican Bookstore. Definitely recommend checking them out. I will leave a link in the description of this video if you guys would like to see their website. I don't know if you can order anything from there, but highly recommend. They had a great selection of books, saw a lot of favorite books. They have new, used, stationery, puzzles, a lot of different things. So if you're ever in the area, check them out or check out their website. The book I ended up picking up there is Homegoing by Ghazi. This is a historical book, very short for what it's encompassing, but my favorite book of last year was The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honor Fannin Jeffers, and a lot of people on like Reddit and all, they're like, if you like that book, you should pick up this book. This is in Ghana in the 18th century. There are two sisters. One marries a British man and lives a life of luxury, where the other, her village gets raided and she gets taken as a slave. So very different lifestyles that these, are they half sisters? Yeah, go on to live. And then each chapter, I guess, in this book is told from a different descendant of these sisters. I think that just sounds very unique, and I love big, epic, historical like that. But it being this short, that's going to be really fascinating to see how the author does that. So at Sunset Beach, I went to every free little library on that island and got, what is it, 4? Yeah, 4 free books here. You can never ever go wrong with free books. I dropped some books off as well. Some of the libraries I didn't get anything or leave anything, but if I got a book at one, I made sure to leave one. I got this book that is Abe, a novel of young Lincoln by Richard Slotkin. This is all about Abraham Lincoln's childhood and teenage years and his coming of age. He's going down the Mississippi River on a boat, obviously, going to cities like Natchez and New Orleans and seeing slavery firsthand. And y'all know I want to read books about every single president, and there's a ton on Abraham Lincoln. I think he was a very influential president. He did a lot, and he was a wartime president, so it makes sense that there's going to be so much content on him. But this one just really, I thought, sounded really interesting since it's following him as a young person. So something that I do with little libraries is, y'all know I am scared of reading popular books because usually they don't live up to the hype. So I don't want to spend money on a book that might not live up to the hype. So if they're free, I'm going to take advantage of that. And the book I'm talking about here is It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. Now, wasn't this the perfect book to pick up at the beach? This one, I actually have no idea what the tropes are. I know it's a small town romance. So Tessa Bailey is back with a Schitt's Creek, I don't know how to say that. Okay. Inspired rom-com about a Hollywood it girl who's cut off from her wealthy family and exiled to a small Pacific Northwest beach. Why did I think this was in Maine? Okay, so to a small Pacific Northwest beach town where she butts heads with a surely sexy local who thinks she doesn't belong. So they don't like each other. I'm not going to say straight up enemies, but it's enemies to lovers, it seems like, set in a small town. So I mean, I like those tropes, but will I like this book? We'll just have to find out. Then we have Waterland by Graham Swift. I had never heard of this book before, but it is set in the bleak Finn country of East Anglia and spanning some 240 years in the lives of its haunted narrator and his ancestors. Waterland is a book that takes in ills and incest, ale-making and madness, the heartless sweep of history, and a family romance as tormented as any in Greek tragedy. It did say on this little blurb from the New York Times, a detective story, and that kind of scared me when I first saw it because I was like, I usually don't do well with those. But then I saw that it is a family saga spanning 240 years in England. Yeah, I want that. The first book that I got out of the free libraries, I think I kind of just jumped because I was like, what if I don't find anything, so I have to grab a book? and that is The Moscow Club by Joseph Finder. So this is set like after the Cold War, and we have is he a CIA agent? Yeah, so Charlie Stone is a brilliant star in the CIA. Now alone and pursued by assassins in a desperate chase around the world, he must find the one woman who holds the key to an amazing mystery decades old. So I thought a decades old mystery would be fascinating, and I am interested in Russian history at the moment. Not so much this recent set in the 1990s, but Russia, they fascinate me. So that's why I picked this one up. If you know me, you know I love shopping at Target, and they always have sales, only books, so why not? I finally bought a book by a popular author, and that is T. King Fisher, and I got What Moves the Dead. I did get for 20% off. So T. King Fisher is actually a local author. I don't know why I never knew that, and I never realized this book was so short. So this is a gripping and atmospheric reimagining of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. And I actually have never read that. That's not one of the Poe stories that I've read. So should I read that book before picking up this one? Let me know, because I don't want to go into this not knowing, like, not having read that when I was supposed to, and then being utterly confused and hating the book. I don't want that to happen. But I've heard great things about her atmosphere. Now, this one isn't one of her most popular ones, but this was what they had at Target, so that's why I picked it up. Next at Target, they had a buy one, get one 50% off sale. I think this was in reference to Amazon doing that big book sale earlier this month, or Kindle Unlimited, one of those online things, I'm not sure. So obviously I took part in it. So this is a book that was very popular on TikTok as well, and that's what finally made me pick it up. Also, I love books that have animals involved, because they usually break me and make me emotional, and one of the point of views in this book is from an animal, and that is Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt, it being an octopus. And I love, oh, my receipt fell out, but I love this cover, and oh my gosh, do you see the like tentacles up there? That's kind of cool. So this is a charming, witty, and compulsively readable exploration of friendship, reckoning, and hope that traces a widow's unlikely connection with a giant Pacific octopus. The other book that I picked up in that sale is The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, which I heard a lot about on BookTube, and it takes place in Italy. There's some 70s music references, and I love both of those things. So that's why I finally bit the bullet, and I was like, it's on sale, why not? So this is as kids, Emily and Chess were inseparable, but by their 30s, their bond has been strained by the demands of their adult lives. So when Chess suggests a girls' trip, lots of S's, to stay at a fabled villa in Italy, Emily jumps at the chance to reconnect with their best friend. So as Emily digs into the villa's complicated history, she begins to think that perhaps Pierce's murder, that was a rock star back in the day, wasn't just a tale of sex, drugs, and rock and roll gone wrong, but that something more sinister might have occurred, and that there might be clues hidden in the now iconic works that Mari and Laura left behind. Inspired by Fleetwood Mac, the Manson murders, and the infamous summer Percy and Mary Shelley spent with Lord Byron at Lake Geneva Castle, the birthplace of Frankenstein, the villa welcomes you into its deadly legacy. I did get 2 books on Amazon this month. I usually only do one, but there's a story there. So the one that would have been my typical purchase on Amazon is The Secret History of Bigfoot, Field Notes on the North American Monster by John O'Connor. I love Bigfoot. I love Bigfoot. And he is very popular, especially in North Carolina, but there are some sightings in South Carolina, particularly in my area. I honestly want to read a book about Bigfoot, and this one is like going into the history of Bigfoot and all of that, and if he's real or not. So with the sharp wit and adventurous spirit, the heartfelt exploration of a cornerstone of American folklore unpacks why we believe in the things that we do, and what they say about us, and how it shapes our world. Time for the funny story here. I went to Barnes & Noble this month, and you're going to see a book that I bought. I didn't realize it was the second book in a series, so I had to go back and buy the first book, and I bought it on Amazon, and that is Shogun by James Clavell. And this is one of those hardbacks where it's like printed on. I only think that's super cool, but I mean, this is like a Bible, like, because the kind of pages. This is, I know, like, it's about this English guy who, what a way to describe it. An English guy who is in feudal Japan, like he goes on an adventure there. He's lost at sea. and he awakens in a place few Europeans know of, or even fewer have seen. Nippon, is that how you say that? So it's in 17th century Japan, which I know not a lot about, but as I talked about earlier, I love big historical epics like Ken Follett. So a lot of times when somebody is recommending those kind of books, Shogun has always come up. And now there is a Hulu show. I think there was also a show back in the day, but this, you know, I like modern TV. Fun, we've made it to the book of the month section of the video. Cheap hardbacks, you can't go wrong with. I'm always going to take advantage of that. The first one being An Absolute Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. I heard about this on Jamie's channel, and I had heard about this book for a long time. It came out in 2018, but she really sold it to me. It's a dystopian, and so in Hank Green's sweeping cinematic debut novel, a young woman becomes an overnight celebrity before realizing she's part of something bigger and stranger than anyone could have possibly imagined. And I love dystopians, and so Jamie has very similar book tastes as I do, so I was like, okay, if she liked it, I'll like it. Nextly, is that a word? Next, this is a video that I also saw on a lot of YouTube a book I saw on a lot of YouTube videos, and that is Ready or Not by Cara Baston. And I think this one is very unique for romance, as our main female character is pregnant. And also this cover is so spring. This is a surprise pregnancy leads to even more life-changing revelations in this heartfelt, slow burn friends to lovers romance. I used to really be an enemies to lovers girl, but in my 20s, I've definitely become more of a friends to lovers. I think it's more realistic. And I think this one is going to be really fascinating since the character is pregnant and not by the guy that she's getting into a relationship with. I want to see those character dynamics. Next, we have Annie Bot by Sierra Greer. I heard about this book in a lot of the Book of the Month communities, and then I did hear about it in YouTube videos as well. This is a sci-fi with an AI, so she's created to be the perfect girlfriend, so it's really like, yeah, a feminist novel. So Annie Bot was created to be the perfect girlfriend for her human owner, Doug. Designed to satisfy his emotional and physical needs, she has dinner ready for him every night, wears the cute outfits he orders her, and adjusts her, I've never known how to say this, libido to suit his moods. True, she's not the greatest at keeping Doug's place spotless, but she's trying to please him. She's trying hard, and this is just really a critique of what men expect of women. And here's another one that I have been seeing everywhere, and that is The Ministry of Time by, I can't read that font, Callie Bradley. And this seems right at my alley. And ingeniously imagine a hilarious romp through time, space, and the human heart that announces an exhilarating new voice in contemporary fiction. So in the near future, a civil servant is offered the salary of her dreams to work on a top secret project. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the human body, but also the fabric of space and time. An exquisitely original and feverishly fun fusion of genres and ideas, The Ministry of Time asks, what does it mean to defy history when history is living in your house? Callie Bradley's answer is a blazing, unforgettable testament to what we owe each other in a changing world. History, sci-fi, romance, it's all being put together here. Oh my gosh, that kind of sounds like Outlander. Time travel. Yeah. And lastly, Book of the Month is doing something new where they are offering these short story collections. So this is volume 0, and it is a collection of dark short stories. I like to read a short story like every morning. One of the first things I do, I think it's a good way to start your day. And so I picked up this one because it's new, exclusive, of course. Now we have made it to that fateful Barnes & Noble journey I went on. The first book that I picked up was The High Sierra, a love story by Kim Stanley Robinson about the Sierra Mountains. And oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. I actually got a picture of the Sierras today. My friend, he flew over them. But this is an intimate panoramic journey through the Sierra Nevada, the best mountains on earth for hiking and camping, according to the best-selling novelist. So I read Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and I think, like, this just reminded me of that. And that book was a 5-star for me, so I was like, maybe this one will be. Next, I got a fantasy book that's so rare for me, and that is Maiden by Sharon Emmerich. So this is basically a retelling of Beowulf, but from the perspective of the women. And Beowulf takes place in the 6th century, I think it is. And that was a century I was really fascinated with back early in the spring, which still I want to read stuff taking place then. So even if it is like kind of fantasy, that's a time period I'm fascinated in. And here is the second Shogun book that I bought on accident. So they only had this in the paperback like this. They don't have it in the hardback like the other, or maybe they do. I think they have the hardback of the first book and only the hardback. They don't have a paperback of it, so they can't match, which is annoying, but it's something that I personally can deal with. I'm so sorry for being all sweaty and gross in this video. It's like 95 degrees here, and my spring clothes, they will be going back into storage soon. This is the last week of spring, but it's hot, and if I film with the fan on, it's noisy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you've read any of these books, let me know. But if you made it through this whole video, leave a flower emoji in the comments below. And as always, comment, rate, and subscribe. And don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.